Yeah, two great programs battling at every facet of this, and a great coaching matchup. Tina Langley doing a great job with this program in the right direction. 7 wins in her first year, but up to 19 this year, and one who's very familiar with the WNIT as she brought home a WNIT championship for the Rice Owls in 2021.
The opening tap goes to Kansas wearing the home whites. Running the weave out front with Wyvette Mayberry. Now to Holly Kerskeeter. Fires her first 3. It's off the mark. Rebound to Daniels. Again, their leading scorer and rebounder for Washington. Daniels at 6.5 boards per game to go along with better than 11 points and has picked up that average, as you saw in the graphic earlier, here in the postseason.
Yeah, and we're going to see Daniels really hovering around that high post most of the game as she does a great job in Washington's Princeton-style-ish type of offense. Being a great passer and scorer from there.
They will use a bunch of the clock. Oliver will fire from 15 and miss. Daniels is there for the putback.
And that's one of the things that she does a great job of, and the rebounding margin is +7 for both of these teams. I think one of the keys to being victorious is who's going to control the glass and who's going to control the tempo. Washington wants to keep it down into the 50s, while the Jayhawks would like to get it up into the 70s.
Chandler Prater with the miss inside. Washington rebounds a little more by committee than do the Jayhawks, who have, of course, the double-figure rebounder in Tiana Jackson. Jackson swipes it away from Daniels on a second attempt. Kerskeeter off the screen, missed her first shot. There's Zakiya Franklin, leading scorer in the regular season for Kansas at better than 15 a game. Kicks off to Mayberry for 3. It's too strong. Van Dyke the rebound for Washington. Haley Van Dyke will bring it up court. 1,200 points in her career. An honorable mention Pac-12 performer. Gets it back on the give and go. And the finish inside. 4 points to Washington. Inside to Jackson, deep post, turned right into trouble though. Spun it into Noble, who ties things up again. This time, the arrow will go to Kansas.
Yeah, Tiana Jackson looking to be wide open if she just sticks with that left shoulder and gets to her right hand, which is typically the type of move a right-handed player likes to make. But in this case, she was trying to get back to that right shoulder, left hand finish, and couldn't quite get there.
Holly Kerskeeter off the screen. Back the other way comes Washington. Filling the break. Daniels down the lane. Had the catch and finish. Bobbled it for a second, but composed and finished. Now, the Jayhawks haven't gotten a lot of scoring off their bench, really, for a good part of the season, but they provided some valuable minutes in the postseason. Scoring, rebounding, maintaining leads. Sophia Tlegde, all right on cue, knocks down the 3 off the Kansas bench.
Right on cue, and she has been able to knock down a few long jump shots in this last 3-game spell, and this matchup could suit her a little bit better to get a few more of those.
Tlegde the rebound off the miss. That comes Zakiya Franklin. Look at the crossover there, off the window with the left hand. The All Big 12 performer, Zakiya Franklin, puts Kansas in front for the first time.
And that's really what Kansas needs to look to do. If they can get clean one-shot rebounds, it's going to be important for them to get quick outlets. So Zakiya Franklin and Wyvette Mayberry, Chandler Prater can really get downhill in transition to try to get easy baskets.
Maggie Tiemann, our officiating crew here tonight at Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas' first lead with the basketball. Kerskeeter off the screen. Hits the elbow jumper. Couple of jump shots down for Holly Kerskeeter with 4.
It's a nice job of the Jayhawks being patient. 3 or 4 passes into that offensive possession. Holly Kerskeeter keeping a good poise. She could have settled for a long 3. She could have over-penetrated, but she pulled up there. And I tell you what, Eldeline, this is someone that you really got to watch. I think she's Washington's most dynamic offensive player. A freshman coming off the bench, but man, she's got great moves to the basket, really aggressive in the green light to shoot any and everything.
And pretty drive and finish there, ending a 7-0 Kansas run.
She's coming off a pretty big game against Oregon where she had 16 off the bench.
Sana Strom knocks down the 3. Kansas getting a couple of 3s. Frustrate. She's read the help well. Good dish, good finish on the inside for T.T. Watkins. Drive from Noble.
Great coast-to-coast drive and find there by Noble.
Strom turns it over underneath the Kansas hoop.
The Jayhawks have had trouble sorting and finding a man in transition several times. They forced a turnover there, but they're going to need to sort that out.
Mayberry the finish and long. 2-on-1 break executed off the turnover. Wybett Mayberry to the line for the and one.
And Wybett Mayberry, very much like Zakiah Franklin, in space with the head of steam, is very, very difficult to contain, as we see an excellent and one finish there.
Mayberry, the Tulsa transfer, will be at the line for an and one opportunity. And hits.
And just so much movement and activity by the Washington offense. Some of them are scoring cuts, some of it's misdirection, but if you come out of a stance even for a little bit, they can make you pay.
Van Dyke misses the jumper off the screen. Kansas can hold for the final possession here of the opening quarter, up 5. They'll bring 3 up high for Franklin, who goes with 10 seconds. Kicks to Strom. Strom for 3. A bit strong. Van Dyke the rebound, takes a look at the clock. Gets to midcourt, sets up the steps, fires it up. Online, but short. As we get set to start the second quarter, Kansas leading by 5. Some of the signage around Allen Fieldhouse. Been tremendous support here for the Kansas women's team in the postseason tournament. The fan base has jumped on board here to support the Kansas women in the WNIT, and they played a bunch of games here at home in this tournament.
Yeah, so many games here at home that they set their new single season record for home wins at 17, and such a great opportunity for this program to have the exposure that it deserves. Got some great Kansas activities coming up with spring showcase next week and the KU relays, but right now it's all Kansas women's basketball.
Shot clock under 5. Strom's going to have to hurry. Lets it fly to not get the rim, and a shot clock violation. This Kansas team has been fueled by playing at home. Washington's had that opportunity as well. Up until today, they've played all their games at home in the WNIT. Steins on the drive with the left hand, flipped it up, no good. Daniels the stick back bucket. Daniels,
aggressive rebound, and then initiated the contact against Prater to create space to get the great finish.
Prater downhill on the run, slices through 3 Huskies to the hole for the bucket.
Hey Josh, you mentioned the Huskies playing their NIT games at home. They haven't been a great road team. I think they're 3-11 on the road for this season. It'll be interesting playing away from home now in the WNIT to see how they fare.
Nearly reverse lay-in for Steins. And then Tiana Jackson, the shot block leader in the Big 12, 103, resetting that this year, over 100 block shots. The 9th 100 block shot season in Big 12 history this year for Kansas. Shot clock at 5. Oliver, fadeaway 15-footer. I didn't think caught iron. The ball's on the floor, and not sure why things didn't reset. It set it back to 20 as Washington got it back. Rebound to Holly Kerskeeter.
What an incredible effort by both of these teams. It's certainly going to take multiple efforts to win a game like this. That's why it's a Fab Four matchup. That's why both of these teams have made it this far. It's because of effort and competitiveness like that.
Franklin on the drive is fouled by Steins and will head to the line for 2.
It's not always about the basketball going in. It's not always about the fancy plays.
Best free throw shooter on the Jayhawks as well, almost 87%.
Of course, Washington played that last matchup in their home arena in Seattle and advanced in the bracket.
They had to come from double figures down in the opening quarter to do so as well. And a comeback victory. Kerskeeter on the rip for Kansas. 2-on-2 back the other way. Kerskeeter navigating through. Flips it off the glass and good for Holly Kerskeeter. Jayhawks their biggest lead at 9.
And in many ways, that's been the Jayhawks' best offense, is turning over the Washington Huskies.
Washington with the timeout. Kansas, 6 straight points, lead it by 9. Kansas with the lead, but the backboards have belonged to Washington here in this opening half.
Yeah, Daniels has been doing a great job on that, but it's really been by committee, and that's one of the things that their offense allows them to do with so much movement and activity. When the ball is in flight on a shot, you can oftentimes lose sight of your man and allow them to get extra rebounds.
Second effort from Ledeen, missed the first, got the follow, and the freshman now has 4.
Again, there's that activity that we were talking about. Great second jump there. Holly Kerskeeter not physical enough there on the block out. That defensive possession is not over with until you secure that defensive rebound.
Tiana Jackson posting up down low, gets to the block, spins to the middle and finishes. It's been tough going on the interior for Tiana Jackson. Ledeen gets in the lane, has it stolen away by Kerskeeter. 2-on-2 back the other way. Kerskeeter on the left hand, off the window, and 1. A whistle and a foul on Noble.
An amazing finish there by Kerskeeter about as soon as she crossed half court. You see the contact there early, just keeping her focus and grit there, finishing all the way at the basket with the left hand off the glass.
So Jada Noble will have to sit down, the sophomore guard with 2 fouls here in this opening half. Holly Kerskeeter hits the free throw. And you see Hannah Steins handling out front, the freshman back into the mix for them as well.
And we saw there Chandler Prater, even though she's given up several inches to Daniels.
Daniels over the back of Mayberry on the rebound.
Wyatt Mayberry doing a better job of being more physical on those blockouts. And when you initiate the contact on your blockout, you actually can draw the over the back foul like you did there.
Jackson the follow off the Mayberry miss with the putback, and suddenly Kansas up 14, nearly got a steal in the form of Kerskeeter. It's a big clap from her head coach, Brandon Schneider.
It's very difficult when Daniels has to go and contest a dribble drive shot to take a body off Jackson, giving her free reign to be able to go to the offensive glass.
Steins on the handoff. Tries to bounce pass backdoor, stolen by Mayberry. Franklin now for Kansas. Kerskeeter on the drive, on the attack. Tried to get the foul call, did not. Tied up. And this time Kansas will have the possession. It's Jackson and Daniels tying up again. And Kansas will inbound. Huskies bring back Lauren Schwartz. She'll replace Brown, who had a quick run, the freshman who came off the bench. Back to the starter in Schwartz in the backcourt. Inside to Jackson. They don't help on the dig this time, and she scoots through and in. Too easy on the interior for Tiana Jackson, who's now got 6.
You don't mind it all that bad because you talked about this is as aggressive as we've seen her.
Steins off the window. Ends a 9-0 Kansas run. Franklin, little pick and roll to Jackson, who missed the short one. Rebound to Van Dyke. Quickly up court. Drive from Schwartz, who lost the handle and turned it over. At least try to get that attempt to play that Kansas will like to run. Franklin handling out front. On the dribble, they clear out this time for Franklin, let her roll. Nice job defensively by Tegan Brown to knock it away. And that'll end the opening half. We're set to go here in the second half. Washington, who overcame a double-digit deficit to Oregon in their last matchup, will have to do so again tonight, down 14 here at halftime as we're underway in the second half. Back with 2 fouls is Jada Noble handling the point guard duties for Washington. Both teams back to their starting 5.
Yeah, and Jada Noble has a determination in her eyes. She did not like sitting out that first half, watching her team let that lead slip away.
Schwartz with the missed jumper. Rebound to Kansas. They'll get it inside right away to Jackson. One-on-one against Daniels. Steps through and good. Tiana Jackson now with 8 points. Back the other way quickly comes Washington. Jumper is missed on the baseline by Van Dyke. 1 and out. Rebound to Kansas.
I'll tell you what, the last 3 post moves for Tiana Jackson have been getting to that left shoulder for the right-hand finish. Serving her very, very well, especially when it's a one-on-one matchup. Oh, and that hurts to see the Huskies Noble pick up that third one very easy. Clearly frustrated as she goes to the bench as Tina Langley tries to keep her encouraged and let her know that there's probably more ways to contribute as a key leader for this team to stay ready to finish the game out.
So a big third foul on the sophomore, Jada Noble. A reach in the lane, a loose ball. No tie-up as Kansas able to flip it away. Jackson got down on the floor to get it. And back come the Jayhawks, up 18. Mayberry. Prater on the drive, stops and pops from 15 and hits. And Kansas now a 20-point margin. Van Dyke on the left-hand dribble, have to fire up a heave from 3. It does not fall. Daniels was there, another offensive rebound that left it short. Daniels with 6 offensive boards, but not really anything to show for it in terms of scoring. Inside to Jackson, shook free of Daniels. Now the offensive rebound spins back into Daniels off of Washington, and Kansas will maintain.
And I'm sure both Daniels and Jackson wish they could have had those two bunnies back. Maybe a little rushed as they secure those offensive rebounds and trying to get it back up as fast as they can. And
Kerskeeter to the drive. Van Dyke with the foul. 2 free throws for Kerskeeter. First foul on Van Dyke. 25-point performance in the Arkansas win. She's now 11th on the all-time scoring list at Kansas. Jumped up 2 spots in the Arkansas game. 8 straight points for Kansas out of halftime.
You know, Josh, a category that the Jayhawks are winning.
As on the board, Daniels with the follow for Washington's first second-half points.
That isn't on the stat sheet is 50-50 balls. There have been several loose basketballs on the floor where each team has had equal opportunity to either dive or...
Delia Daniels, her second foul, as Jackson goes to the free throw line for a pair. Led the Big 12 in a number of categories. Free throw shooting, not one of them. Misses them both. Ledeen bouncing out front. Shot clock down to 7. Hasn't given up the ball yet. May have taken an extra step. Shots off the back iron. Jackson rips away the rebound. Not a lot going that trip for Washington.
I'm looking here over at Tina Langley to see if she's going to look down the bench and get Jada Noble back in. I know she has 3 fouls, but this Washington Husky team looking really leaderless right now. And they're going into that timeout. You can really tell how pleased Coach Brandon Snyder was with this unit as he hustled off the bench and met his team all the way out near the logo, giving high fives and encouragement there.
Got 3 subs on the floor.
This Kansas defense has really picked up its disruptiveness by not allowing the Huskies to get easy shots.
Van Dyke on the inside missed the first.
This is actually Washington's first free throw attempts of the game.
Emma Grodhouse in for the first time, 6'4" senior. Transfer from Lehigh in at a forward spot for Washington.
We're just not seeing the Huskies really attack the rim other than offensive rebounding.
Strome drives through the lane, forces the contact, gets it back. Shot clock did not reset. Ball's tipped out. Taken back by Watkins, who's off to the races. Left-hand layup is good. Thirteenth turnover for Washington here in this one. Zakiya Franklin on the drive in the lane and the finish for the senior guard.
Great pass there by Telegdi, who threaded the needle between 2 defenders. She's having great productivity off the bench this game in several categories. At some point in time, you imagine they're going to have to let it fly from the 3-point line to try to cut into this margin, but who will it come from?
Mayberry double teamed in the backcourt, gets it away to Telegdi, back up to Franklin. Fakes the pass, drives on Daniels, finishes with the right hand for the lefty, Zakiya Franklin.
Zakiya Franklin showing big-time confidence there in the 2-on-1 against Daniels, who's been a really great shot blocker here in this game. Keeps it herself and finishes over.
Zakiya Franklin now with 8. So Schwartz at the free throw line for 3.
I'll tell you what, Wivette Mayberry has found herself in trouble in the trap a couple of these last possessions, but has done a great job of handling the pressure, using her ball handling ability to split traps and you've got someone that can do that and then advance the ball up the court, there's going to be advantage numbers-wise for the offense every time.
Mayberry fires it herself. Backdoor, T.T. Watkins didn't quite have a shot, got it to Noble. Enters the paint, hands off, Grotehouse with the finish.
Seems like she's got a great motor and a great spirit. I know that Washington missed that.
Noble will have a chance to beat the buzzer here, flings it up off the backboard wide. Also this WNIT field, a lot of years it'll be a lot of teams were close, right? That didn't get into the NCAA tournament or were right there. And we see a lot of times those teams kind of flame out. That wasn't the case this year. A lot of the top contenders heading in were still playing late. And so this has been a quality tournament from start to finish. Kersketer on the dribble.
Bowling Green having a lot of momentum. Taking out Memphis, taking out Florida, and losing on their home court today. I think that was a little bit of a surprise to folks that were watching that side of the bracket.
Zakiya Franklin from the wing knocks down the three. Her first from the arc tonight, now in double figures with 11. It's 5 on 4. Now for Washington as Van Dyke hits one from 16. Mayberry goes to work. Low pass, great catch by Jackson in traffic. Can't finish, but draws the foul. 8 points and 9 rebounds. Led the Big 12 in rebounding, block shots, double-doubles, field goal percentage. She's third in rebounding in the country on the season at 12.5 per game. No look pass that time. Ledeen a little too much on it. She set the school record last year and then reset it this year in the block shot category. And I mentioned 6th in the country in block shots. And her rebounding terrific as well. The miss, but put back up and good by Tiana Jackson.
And we know Tiana Jackson, the numbers that she can produce on the defensive end by way of block shots and rebounds, but you got to give a lot of credit to these Kansas guards in that turnover margin. 7 steals. You talked about those active hands a little bit earlier in this first half, continuing to create offensive opportunities for the Jayhawks.
Jackson 12 points now, 11 boards for double-double number 21. Make it 22, excuse me. Always got to keep adding up. Ivan Mayberry, the baseline jumper. And Kansas continues to push away. Levine looking for help out front. Now to Oliver, goes left-hand dribble. Touches the paint, now 16-footer, rolls in for Daniels.
And knowing Daniels is a younger player in her sophomore campaign, she'll be looking to make plenty of noise in the Pac-12 next year as well.
And Daniels with a block shot there, helping on defense. Really good player for the Huskies, and just a sophomore. Turnover again in the lane. Prater has it. Looking to push pace again. 2 on 3. Prater will skip. Mayberry, Franklin, corner 3. Rattles in for Zakiya Franklin. And Washington will call timeout. Jayhawks push the lead 60-32 here in the fourth. Washington will inbound underneath their own hoop. Washington with Alea Daniels, the only double-figure scorer, has 10 points, 13 rebounds. Couple block shots as well. Air ball fired up by Tegan Brown. Rebound to Kansas.
So it's just really difficult defensively that Washington forces a turnover there.
Daniels a steal. Brown the finish. Kansas will inbound. Washington still pressuring here. Under a minute to go. The double team comes from Oliver and Van Dyke. Van Dyke rips it away from Chandler Prater. So Washington not giving in here at the end. They get a drive from Schwartz. Missed it. Oliver, rebound. No good, but a foul. The senior Haley Van Dyke, 1,202 points entering tonight for Van Dyke. Add another 6, so completes her career over 1,200 points. Now Allen Fieldhouse rises to their feet. The Jayhawks are going to advance to the WNIT championship. Prater, shot clock down to 4 and forces the action and draws the foul. Chandler Prater will shoot 2 free throws. Prater, 4 points, 6 rebounds tonight. Missed the free throw here. The only Jayhawks starter not in double figures tonight. Prater has had a terrific tournament, though, here in the postseason. For the junior out of Kansas City. So 10 seconds to go. I think we can let the cat out of the bag, Wayne. Kansas going to advance Saturday right here at Allen Fieldhouse. 4:30 for the championship as they will play host to Columbia. Kansas victorious 61-36 over Washington to advance to the WNIT final, which will be here in Lawrence, Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse.